No, I agree.
Yeah,
and I would assume that would be your position, but...
And we're on. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the World Wide Web. Welcome to Giants Blitz, our show about all things football right here on ChilliwackGiants.com. I'm your host, Tim Amy, live from Studio Wayne. And don't forget, at the end of this, we have a trivia question. So, unsung heroes. There's lots of them. In music, it's always the bass player. No one remembers the bass player. Maybe Sting, but that's about it. In hockey, it'd be the rear guard defenseman. In football, it is the offensive lineman, the O-line, where the crowd's up in the stands. They got the D and the fence and the defense. No one's got an O and a line. No one's cheering for the O-line.
Don't call it unsung, call it underappreciated.
Underappreciated. And that nice segue into our guest tonight, none other than the defibrillator, Mr. Matt Paisley. How are you, my good man?
I'm really good, thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Of course, the legend himself, Big JC, Jason Campbell here. Now, I'm going to start with you, Matt.
Sure.
Jason, you were not an O-lineman.
That's correct.
But you were a middle linebacker, and you centered off against the center, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, so you get it from the other perspective. We get two perspectives of the O-line here. Matt, I want to talk to you because you're an O-line coach.
Yeah, you bet.
You played a bit of O-line yourself.
Not very much, surprisingly.
But you played. You did it.
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
That's good enough for me. No. Low standards. We're a new show.
There's actually, there's a funny reason why I play or why I coach O-line.
Okay.
It's because as a defensive player, I got tired of having the smarter offensive line players have their way with me. so
really?
really. I just
a little awkward.
They were the offensive line were a smarter, better athlete in my opinion.
Really?
So yeah,
okay.
I learned to appreciate it, and that's why I moved to coaching offensive line.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Okay, so let's talk about O-line.
Sure.
Underappreciated.
Yep.
Unsung hero. I mean, we watched the Super Bowl and Tom Brady and all those guys and tons of time throwing the ball, bing, bing, bing. But it's the O-line, like good running back, good quarterback. It's the O-line, right?
So here's the thing, and I really believe I have a very strong opinion about this. You could have a mediocre quarterback, a mediocre running back, but if you have an amazing offensive line, you can win a game without problem. If you got an offensive line that can control the tempo of the game, control the flow of the game, you keep drives going, you keep defenses off the field. A good offensive line, you can do wonders with. So everyone that says, oh, Tom Brady, he's the greatest. It's all about Tom Brady. Hey, man, let's have a look at that offensive line, right? And really, I truly believe that. The teams that are successful, NFL, CFL, it's all about the offensive line. The BC Lions 2 years ago had a horrendous offensive line. They invested the time in it last year. All of a sudden, look at, hey, we're not a 7-9 team anymore.
Second round of the playoffs.
Yeah. Or 7-11. Sorry.
7-11.
No, we became, or I say we because I'm a Lions fan.
That's fair enough.
We can move the ball. We can control the ball. We can control the defenses. You can do so much.
I hear you.
And people don't understand that.
Okay, now take us through it. Why don't they understand? Jason, I'm not going to leave you hanging here.
No, that's all right.
What don't they understand?
Okay, so
take us through it.
So there's a lot of misconceptions about the offensive lineman. People like to think you got to be big. You're probably unathletic. You don't have to be smart, and you need a lot of coaching. I'm here to tell you there's two types of athletes. There's a reactionary athlete on a football field, and there's an intelligent athlete on the football field. The offensive line, as long as he's got great feet, great hands, and a great mind, nothing else matters.
Money in the bank.
Yeah.
Great feet. Give me great feet.
Great feet. Okay. So think about this. You've got a kid or a player, let's just say, that's playing offensive line, and he can't move his feet. He has slow feet. He comes out of his stance. He's standing flat-footed. He's not moving on the balls of his feet. They're rooted essentially.
Right.
It's difficult to explain it.
He's sitting on his heel.
To show you.
He's kind of on his heels, right?
You're going to get blown up.
Right. So his center of gravity is off. It should be sort of like that, and he's more like that.
You can adjust your center of gravity,
right.
But if you got dead feet or slow feet, you can't do it, and you can't play the line.
The simple fact of the matter is if you can be the strongest man on the planet, but if you can't get your feet to get you where you need to be,
exactly,
you can't make the play.
Right.
That's all there is to it.
That's exactly right. And so I don't know how many times I've seen kids
Thank you, Chase.
that, it's a great point. He's absolutely right. I don't know how many times I see a player that just, he's super strong, gets up, but man, these smaller, faster defensive linemen just run right by him. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, what happens, you see this, we talked about this before we went live.
Mm-hmm.
Coaches will always grab the biggest kid and throw him on the O-line.
Oh, that's,
It's at the earlier ages, it has a tendency of being the right field of football, if you know what I mean by that. So in baseball, you put kind of you hide kids in the right field.
Oh, right, okay.
Right, so not a lot of balls get hit that direction. You don't really have to worry about. They don't have to have a great arm to get it in.
Right.
So you kind of hide kids in right field. In football, you kind of do the same thing with the offensive line.
Yeah.
Hey, look, there's a big, slow, athletic kid. Let's throw him in front of the quarterback. And that is a big mistake, because then kids, and I've seen it even at the junior level, kids get this belief that it's okay. I can be a quote unquote a hoggy. I can be fat and slow. They just need a big guy here, and that is so far not the truth. So far from the truth that it's actually obscene.
It becomes dangerous for the running backs and the quarterbacks too,
and for them, because defensive linemen and linebackers are taught to be like vicious and relentless, and it's like a pack of dogs against some chubby kids. That's not even any kind of right. These kids have been training for 10 years.
Intelligent athletes, I prefer.
Right? But that's what happens if
They have a good nature, good person.
So you put
All
some
right.
kids.
Oh
Let's take juniors. So these kids
Right.
are 18, 19 to 22 years old. Preferably they're on university by the time they hit 21, 22. But we have, let's say, an 18 or 19-year-old kid coming up to try out for a junior team anywhere across Canada, and they've been playing in a small town system somewhere where it's just been, hey, you're a big kid, go sit on the line, and the defensive players that got called up to try out for this are, like I said, they're raw meat eating animals,
Right.
and then you just
Lean and mean.
Yeah, you
They're
blitz
big,
at 'em.
but they're super fast. Yeah.
It is. You can tell the kids who have been in that situation, they just happen to be genetically lucky to be big, so they're playing football and playing on the line, and they get torn up.
Mm-hmm.
They get torn up. So we should be really teaching at a fundamental, at an earliest stage as possible.
Yeah.
You need to be fit, fast, and strong
Yeah,
to play
you bet.
offensive line.
Yeah.
And as we talked about before we started here, is Lawrence Taylor really changed that mindset. Rather than just putting up bricks of a wall in front of a quarterback, it had to be a fast-moving wall to cover that guy, that edge player, and that's changed the game for offensive linemen.
For the uninitiated, Lawrence Taylor was
He was the baddest man on the planet.
Yeah, I know. What position did he
He
play?
was also a giant.
That's true.
New York Giant. But no, what position did he play?
He was playing outside linebacker, and they had him from rush end.
So he was a D-man.
He's a
So he
defensive
was
player.
charging the quarterback,
Yeah.
and he was so quick and fast. Being on the opposite side, teams had to adjust to him.
And he was
That's
so,
your point.
Yeah, and he was so proficient at it that they from that moment on called it the blind side, right?
Right.
That you had to create some of the highest paid players in football are the tackles that play there, the offensive tackles that play there. So, got to
You're
be
protecting your asset,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
legitimately.
Protecting your quarterback.
Yeah.
Interesting point that you made, touching on Ian Parks is one of our coaches here with Chilliwack Giants. I've heard him say, I don't know how many times, I would kill to have an O-line coach.
Yeah.
He coaches at Adam, and he's in Pee Wee. I guess Pee Wee now. His son's moving up, and junior bantam. And I would kill to have an O-line coach. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're few and far between.
Well, so here's the thing. One of the challenges. It's not a sexy position, right? It's not. You're not. Like to me, it is.
Yeah.
Right. Don't get me wrong.
But you're right. No,
it's,
watching a Lions game, you're not checking out the
so,
O-line.
Okay, so you're. You've got your son, right? Who's in what, Pee Wee now?
No, he's
right?
going first year JB.
Oh, first year JB.
Yeah.
Okay, but growing up watching football, you're not thinking, hey, when I coach, I want to coach offensive line, right?
Well,
there's not many.
Let's try a quick trivia question. Which guys played on the line in this panel here, and which one didn't?
Yeah.
You don't have to log on. Just
But no, but you understand what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
the problem is it starts with the parent,
Right.
Saying, hey, everyone watches the quarterback throw the ball, the receiver catch it, the running back score the touchdown. No one says, man, I want to teach the hoggies, our intelligent athletes how to be great blockers. No one says that,
Right.
right? Or very few do. And so that's why it's so important to find a really strong-willed, dedicated, devoted coach to coach offensive line. And Ian and I have talked about this a lot. It honestly, I mean, because O-line is a passion for me. But when I was head coaching, I really wanted to find another guy that could coach the offensive line, but there were no parents that wanted to do it, and nobody that I trusted as a head coach to do it.
And it's it's unlike, I'm sure every position would say this, every positional coach would say this, but O-line is unique in that it is technically so micro. What I mean by that is your feet have to be just so, your hips have to be just in the right place, your hands have to be placed in the right spot. It's such a nuanced position that people don't understand. They just think it's, again, two meatheads smashing into each other in the line, and it's not like that.
If I can expand on that, I love the fact that you brought that up, because no one sees that. When I coach offensive line and I'm teaching kids, I talk about something called efficiency of movement. The efficiency of movement is, just like Jason says, you've got all these little nuances, these microscopic movements that you have to make. Think about it this way, okay? You've got 1 yard separating the offensive line from the defensive line and a blitzing linebacker, perhaps.
Right.
Okay? You've got 3 seconds, maybe 2.5 seconds to get that ball out of the backfield. So what you've got to do for that, in that 1 yard, you've got approximately 1 to 1.5 seconds to get across the line, to get your body set and positioned correctly, to create a lane for either a pass, create a lane for a run, pull, trap, do it, get yourself in position. 1.5 seconds is not a lot of time. So you have to be extremely efficient in the way you move.
Or make it look like it's a passing lane and it's a running lane.
But you understand.
And that's the smarts.
You understand what I'm saying. So getting out of your stance, taking your first step, your check step, your explosion step, your hip roll, your hand placement, all this has to happen in 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, that's quick.
You've got to be efficient, just like Jason says.
Now, you were middle linebacker, so you're charging the center, right?
Well, in our particular scheme, that's what would happen. It would on a run play, I would be engaging the center, standing him up, read and react to whichever hole he was trying to get to.
So what I'm curious about from your angle is, how did you read the center in terms of what you were going to do? Like, what telltale signs of how he set his feet and set his hands?
Center's very difficult.
That you had to read in order to get through him to get that running back and plug those gaps.
So at the time.
Yeah, when you were playing.
At the time, I didn't. At the time, I would.
Thanks for coming out, folks. Next week.
Well, at the time, I was really all brute strength and ignorance when it came to playing linebacker. He was in my way for making a play. I would hit the center as hard as I could, and stand him up, and then I would read the running back from then on. Now, I would be reading a 3-man spread as a middle linebacker. I would be reading my open guards, whichever guard I could see better, looking for their first step, their first movement. Their first movement, it would dictate to me flow of play, pass or run, and then I would make my reads according to that.
Oh, okay.
And again, because offensive line is efficiency, very rarely do they take false steps. So their first step is indicative of where the play is going or what is going on. High hat, low hat, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. Interesting. That's cool. Yeah, you got a whiteboard, man.
Okay, so
we got nothing but time here, and they're killing themselves. I wonder what the whiteboard's going.
Okay, so the reason I brought the whiteboard tonight is I just want to kind of demonstrate why fast feet are so important.
All right.
Okay, so typically a coach is probably, and I'm just talking about on the youth level. All right, this is extremely simple introductory offensive line play, but we don't do enough of it.
Okay.
We really don't. I don't know how many times I watch Adam, Pee Wee, even junior bantam players stand up, push, and like Jason says, bash heads.
Right.
Running back runs around it, and it's over. What everyone doesn't understand is if we can just introduce some simple blocking techniques or schemes to the way we run, Adam kids will eat this up. Adam, they're intelligent. They understand what they're doing. So why not teach them some simple, I call it like simple advanced stuff.
Well,
Like,
the answer is you've already answered it. There's no O-line coach to teach it.
Well, no, that's right.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so before I show you and demonstrate what I'm saying, I think it's critical that, and Scotty, head coach Bantam, is going to love this, but I think it's critical that the head coach understands how important, and the offensive coordinator understands how important it is for them to communicate with the offensive line coach so that the correct blocking schemes can be put in place.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen it in the past where, you know, hey, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to run a counter to the right. All right. What set are you running it at, guys? You know, are there any motions? All these other things. If you just tell me what you want to do, we can build something with the offensive line to get extra man at the point of attack. You know, blindside blocks, things that are completely legal, but to give us an overload and more time and bigger holes. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm going to demonstrate here.
So, Mike, one of our other coaches, Mike Kelly, made an excellent point during a seminar once. When you've got an Adam O-line and they're brand new, in practice, get them turn around with their back to the D-line and watch the play.
Yeah.
So they understand where the running back's going, what the quarterback's doing,
Yeah,
and then this is the play, this is where they're going, and this is why we want you to move this way. And it's like, oh, you know, it's just, it's simple but brilliant, right?
I'm going to talk.
Go on whiteboard.
Yeah,
go on
so I'm
whiteboard.
going to talk about two different things. Okay, the first thing is a pull. So if we're running just a simple toss being a pitch or something to get the ball to the outside, or a sweep, you've got the fullback lead blocking and usually a toss to the tailback. You've got a player, you've got an end crashing down, you've got an outside linebacker here, you've probably got a halfback here and a cornerback here.
And Matt, you maybe start from the center, working your way out.
I am going to.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
I'm just explaining why there's the numbers, right?
Yeah.
But thank you.
Anytime.
So right on, I mean, you know, the way to look at it here is I've got those players cancel each other out, but I've got three players on two. Okay? The defense should win that every single time. 3 on 2.
We usually do.
Yeah. So no, but it's true. So what I suggest doing, teach your kids, if they've got great feet and they're fast, get those kids to pull. Very simple movement. On that ball snapped, everyone's blocking down. Let that guard pull out. That guard will take the end. Okay? The tackle, actually, what I would prefer to do is I'd prefer to pull both of them. Now you've got an overlap for the offense. If you've got the guard in the center pulling on the outside linebacker and the halfback, and you've just got a toss to the tailback, he's got no one to mark him. It's just it's a extra man at point of attack.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. The block that I think is super sexy and gets me all excited is the trap block.
It's a family show,
Right?
Matt.
Good thing that whiteboard's there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So anyhow,
Oh.
this is a sexy block, right? So what happens here is on a trap, we've got on a normal, say on a power run, where we're coming up through this channel here. We'll call it the 4-hole right now, okay? On a typical block, that tackle seals the end out, the guard seals the nose tackle in, and it's just fullback and a tailback through the hole. You can see right here, that is such a small channel to run through, okay? And you got a big guy and fast guy trying to get through. You've got linebackers filling that. It's not a big gap. That play isn't going to go very far. So what I suggest you do, and I'm not saying this is every play, this is an adjustment that you make. You do a trap block. And this is what's so exciting. This trap block, this tackle cracks down on the nose guard. That allows this end. He thinks he's coming free. I'm hurrying up. You're probably
No,
looking at me
I'm
like,
cracking. I'm giving you the cracking.
right. So this end now thinks he's coming free.
Okay.
So he comes. Well, guess what? We got a surprise for him. That guard clears him out, but now he's clearing him out a yard into the backfield. So now just 2 simple adjustments on that block. Look at the size of that hole it opens. It's twice the size. Now you've got that fullback coming through here. He can fill an outside linebacker, or he can fill and hit the inside linebacker. Tailback's got a big hole. End never knew what was coming. Nose tackles hammered inside. You're going to get yards. This is so simple. Adams, Pee-wees, anyone can run it. But the whole key is you got to have fast feet.
Yeah.
Because if this tackle can't get across and that guard can't kick the end out, it doesn't work.
Right.
Fast feet.
There you go. Fast
All right.
feet. Now, you know, it's an interesting point, and we've touched on you about, of course, without an O-line, the running backs are nowhere.
Yeah, yeah.
You look at the Heisman Trophy winners. How many Heisman Trophy winners have been running backs that have gone nowhere in the NFL? Nowhere.
Yeah,
Because they had a
that's-
great
that-
O-line
yeah,
in
no.
college,
Yeah.
and they go pro, and they go first overall, and the team's, a mess.
Well, I would
And
argue. I would
boom.
argue, honestly, college football. You've got programs that can afford to recruit and programs that can't. I think
Yeah.
that has a lot more to do with who the Heisman winners are.
Oh, no, that's fair enough. I mean, my point is
Yeah.
he goes to the NFL, and they disappear. You know what I mean?
There's a
Right.
whole that could play a role. Definitely play
Yeah.
a role. I think there's a whole. That's probably another topic for you. Why Heisman Trophy winners don't necessarily
Pan out.
out
All right.
or high draftees. But there's just a whole gamut of reasons why that could be the case. It's a whole other level. Like it's just a whole other level. Everybody's fast in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they're bigger, stronger.
Bigger, stronger, faster. Yeah, freakish.
Scary.
Freakish,
It's
yeah.
scary. It's scary. Okay.
So, actually leading into Jason's point there about everyone's fast, everyone's strong.
Right.
Right. Why not focus on making your guys fast and strong? Because down here at this level, not everyone's fast and strong.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh,
So
that's
hey,
it.
maybe getting a good offensive line coach and committing your time and your offensive coordinator and head coach at Bantam, allowing you to spend time with the offensive line.
Who could he be talking to?
I'll put it to you this way. I'll
No,
make it.
but
I'll-
if they can put that time in,
I'll boil it down.
Yeah.
So we all know Luke Atchison. He's coaching at a number of different levels and a number
Brilliant
of different,
coach.
number of different places. He had an opportunity to work with one group of kids for a period of 3 years. And I think the majority of those kids are university bound.
You're kidding me.
And that doesn't happen often.
Wow.
Like usually out of a group of linemen, you may have one or two that go off. He's produced a number of.
I know the team
of
and
high-
that entire offensive line
Right.
just about went on. I
Yeah,
know.
and the ones that didn't was personal choice or injury, so that's good coaching at an early level. It's not that those kids were necessarily circus freaks of nature. Some of them were, but that was good coaching for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
That produced super high quality players.
I happen to spend. Can we keep going here?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I got a quick question for you, though. Every time I talk to a coach at the BC junior level, and I don't care if it's with Okanagan or Kamloops or right here in Chilliwack with the Valley Huskers, they're all looking for O&D linemen.
Yeah.
Like everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere. So, I mean, what's...
They're looking for quality.
Quality. So they're just not getting the coaching, as you're saying, because if all this one line that Luke did went off the university, you think they'd all go. You know what I mean? Like, there's a position for every single kid coming out of midget who on the O-line.
They have all gone. It's like the only, like I said, the only ones that didn't play or are going to CIS is either personal preference,
Right.
grades, or injury.
Yeah.
They all had offers.
They all had the talent.
Oh, wow.
And they all,
they all
for
had
sure.
offers and they all had the talent. so.
No, I mean, just kind of talking about Luke there. One of the things that stood out to me, I spent a lot of time watching him at the Huskers last year, and his just the efficiency he looked for. I saw what he was doing, but I know sitting in the stands with parents watching him, saying, and those parents saying, why is he getting on those kids for what looks like a step that was maybe an inch out?
Game of inches, man.
It is a game of inches, and my answer to that would be exactly what Jason says. Hey, do you want them to play second level?
Yeah.
Right. And if that's the case, I mean, Luke's the master of that.
It's amazing.
Right?
It's amazing what coaching. I was watching the Jays before I came here, and my son's watching with me. He plays football, but he's going, well, how come pitchers are good? What's a good pitcher? I said, you got to have good coaching. You got to practice all the time, and you got to watch the major league guys. Where are they putting their feet?
Yeah.
Like really, you're throwing with it's the arm, But I mean, foot placement, man, like with the
Yeah,
pitcher,
it
and
is.
it's the same with the O-line, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Having said that, we have another kind of common phrase in football is, you can't coach speed.
No.
We can do a lot, but when there are some individuals that show up that are just faster than everybody.
For sure.
And
But you can training though, pulling the tire, the parachute.
oh yeah. You're gonna
No, you wouldn't use the
That's gonna get
pulling
you-
a tire or parachute for offensive line.
Okay, what you don't?
No, I don't.
Workouts.
It's wrong. Sorry, it is.
No,
Yeah,
it's-
my point
it's
is
the ladder.
fitness.
Yeah, fitness levels,
that thing.
and,
Okay.
and that'll take you to the
It's a misconception. I just
that'll take you
don't
to,
stick a ladder or a parachute on an O-line.
Okay.
that,
We won't.
that'll take you to the next level of your particular level of fitness. But there are some guys that come to you, and that's actually another big issue in lower level sport is that the fast kid gets thrown into, hey, you're the quarterback. And he's just going to tuck the ball and run every
Yeah.
play.
All right, right.
And whereas opposed to and the kid never gets coaching, so by the time he gets up to our level, at the junior level, he's been an all-star everywhere he's played, but he doesn't know anything, and then he's very difficult to coach.
Yeah.
Because he's like, well, this has worked so far. Okay, well now you're going to play against the fastest kid from that town. And his 6 buddies who are also very fast, and they don't like you very much, and you don't know anything.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they don't play anymore because
What-
they're crushed. So
All right, I'm going to wrap up. One last
Sorry,
point. and we're
Yeah,
gonna
no,
wrap.
I was going to say something a little bit anecdotal, but I see in lots of different levels. I see the big running back.
Yeah.
Right, the big running back is it's a mistake in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah, you get those that say at junior bantam, so you could relate
Okay.
to that. The 5'7", 200-pound running back that he just tears up the league because he's so big and he's fast. But I'm going to tell you, teams are going to, other kids are going to grow up and catch up to that kid.
Yeah.
And
You're not doing that kid any favors.
No, you're not doing that kid any favors. If you want that kid to play second level or another level, have him playing a position that he can grow into and play, right? And why not put an athlete? Think what an athletic big man can do playing on the offensive line.
Yeah.
It can change a game.
Change the game. Okay, we're going to wrap up. We got a trivia question. And you guys are probably going to know the answer, so don't tell it. You're going to log on to our Facebook page. It's for the listeners.
Yeah.
For the listener page. For the listener. We'll get you a prize later.
Thank you.
Your prize is being on the show with us.
Hey.
There you go. Okay, trivia. Log on to our Facebook page. The answer, YouTube. Go into YouTube. Go into YouTube. Okay, the question is, the Chilliwack Giants were celebrating our 25th anniversary this season. What were we originally called? The hint is, it was not the Giants. It was something else. So what was the original name for Chilliwack, the Chilliwack Giants? Log on to YouTube and put the answer down, and our media person, Miss Jillian Fraser, will get back to you with one of the fantastic prizes. And if you go on our Facebook page, we have some new apparel coming out, and you're going to love it. So you can win some of that apparel. Okay, I'm going to wrap up. I have to thank our guests, Mr. Matt Paisley.
All right, thank you.
Big JC, buddy. Thank you very much, guys. It's just awesome having you on. It's a ton of fun. I love it. I just
That was
love
a
it.
lot of fun. Thanks.
I love it.
Come watch
Okay.
some Valley Huskers games this season.
Yes, I mean, I announced the games, and you get to see Big JC on the sidelines. Okay, so our executive producer, Mr. Wayne Bjorgi, thank you so much for all your hard work. Technical producer, Mr. Tim Maston, who makes us all look beautiful here. And our social media empress extraordinaire, Miss Jillian Fraser. And, of course, our show whip, Mr. Tom Caverly, puts it all together. Thank you very much. Next week's show is a pre-recorded show that I did with Mr. Jason here a few weeks back, about a month or two ago. First Nations representation in football, or the lack thereof, and the controversy surrounding team nicknames like the Edmonton Eskimos and the Washington Redskins. Thank you very much for tuning in to Giants Blitz. I'm your host, Tim Amy, right here, ChilliwackGiants.com.